Okay, that was weird. I lost the whole first part of my my little video, so I'm going to do it again. So this video was inspired by watching Pople Backyardfarm. Ruth Pople and her husband do these wonderful little videos on their animals and their plants and sitting on their front porch and stuff. They're really fun to watch. I enjoy them. Well, today's was called, let's see if I can find it, 4th of July Beauty. And Ruth is talking about her having come across a vegetable, a flowering vegetable, a squash, I think, amid her flower bed somewhere, and how beautiful it was, and how you know, you could use it as a decorative or an ornamental plant. Just lovely, which is true. Well, it sparked my memory about something that happened, oh, I don't know how many years ago. It was maybe 15 years ago. No, it was about 10 years ago, because it was about the time Grant and I met. Anyway, I had this friend. She was an elderly woman. She'd be probably maybe close to 100, I'm thinking now. Anyway, she was a very prim and proper old lady. You know, every hair in place, always completely beautifully dressed. The house was perfectly done. She was very kind of uber Christian, you know, very spiritual. She was, well, she bordered on snooty. I don't know any other way to put it. But for some reason, she'd taken a liking to me, and she kind of took me under her wing. Boy, she was going to whip me into shape. Well, one day I came over to her house and I had some leftover plants. I had planted in my yard and I had some left over, and I knew that she liked ornamental flowers. I think I had some begonias and impatiens and just this and that that were coming up in pots, right? So I brought them over and I planted them in her yard and I put some in pots, and she was happy and la-di-da. Well, about a month later, I come over to her house and she kind of takes me by the shoulder and she says, "Cheryl, come here, I want to show you something." I said, okay. So we go out into her backyard, and now I've got to edit this because here's where the video crapped out. So part 2 is coming up right here. That was weird. Anyway, she says, "Cheryl, I want to show you something." So I go out in the backyard with her, and here's this beautiful green plant that has a gorgeous purple flower on it, almost lily-like, just lovely. And she points to that, and you could see that the leaves or the petals had fallen off one of the other flowers, and it had like a little cone thing sticking out. And she says, "Cheryl," she says, "do you see that?" I said, "Yes." And she says, she kind of looks to each side and she says, "That's okra." I can't do it the way she did it, but she had this horrified look on her face that she had okra growing in her suburban backyard. Just completely freaked out. Okay, now here's the backstory on that. We live in Central California, which was built on the backs of, you know, Dust Bowl era ditch bank Okies who had been forced from their homes. They had to go somewhere to farm, and so they came to California, most of them as itinerant workers or migrant workers. So there's a big base of Okie blood right here where we live, and things like cornbread and okra and, you know, I don't know, whatever, greens, that kind of stuff, all the stuff that they used to eat back there. There's kind of a basis of that here as well. But there are a lot of people here, I think particularly the elderly, and she would be probably close to 100 now if she were alive. Anyway, particularly the elderly, they have this, they've carried over this like embarrassment of where their ancestors may have come from. Now, I don't even think this woman had any Okie blood in her at all, but just the association of the okra, which is a southern poor person food, and it being in her yard, well, that freaked her out completely. And I have giggled about that ever since. And it's never occurred to me to tell anybody the story. So anyway, that's the story of the illicit okra plant in the suburban backyard. Anyhow, yeah, I love vegetables as ornamentals. My good friend Tom, his parents used to live in Hawthorne, California. in this little old house that was built right after World War II. And they kept it beautifully kept up. It was gorgeous. But one of the things his mom did is she would plant vegetables in the front yard flower beds as ornamentals. And one thing she would keep is Brussels sprouts. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen Brussels sprouts growing, but they grow on these very tall stalks, and they flower, and then each of the flowers turns into a Brussels sprout all the way up the stalk. And they're quite striking. I mean, they're really pretty. So, and I know she didn't have any okie in her. Tom's parents, I think they came from Wisconsin or someplace like that. So anyhow, there you go. It's all perception, right? It's all your perspective. That's what makes something funny or horrifying. Anyway, that's my story, and I hope you guys are having a great 4th of July. I am sitting here making crafts. Bye.